Shalom, welcome back to the Sequential Zohar series. Today we are entering Zohar Bereshit A, chapter 17, called A Prayer of the Poor. And this chapter is powerful because it completely changes the way we think about prayer. Normally, when people think about prayer, they think about asking. God, give me this. God, help me with that. God, open this door. God, protect me. God, bless me. The human being is fragile. We live inside time, inside hunger, inside uncertainty, inside family pressure, money pressure, health pressure, spiritual pressure. So of course, the soul cries out. But the Zohar goes deeper. It says the greatest power of prayer is not only that prayer brings something down from heaven. The greatest power of prayer is that prayer removes something from the human being. It removes arrogance. It removes ego. It removes the illusion that we are the center of everything. It removes that inner hardness that says, I already know. I already deserve. I already understand. This is why the chapter begins with the idea of incomplete prayer. A prayer that is not complete becomes vulnerable. The Zohar describes forces of accusation, forces of obstruction, forces that chase after the prayer as it rises. In simple language, not every prayer rises cleanly. Some prayers are mixed with ego. Some prayers are mixed with anger. Some prayers are mixed with control. Some prayers are really just fear dressed up in holy language. And some prayers are not really directed toward God at all. They are directed toward the self, toward the image of the self, toward the desire to be seen as spiritual. So the Zohar teaches that prayer must be guarded. It must be clothed. It must be lifted with the right consciousness. The chapter mentions the covering of the talit and the tefillin, the sign upon the head and arm. On the deeper level, this means prayer needs a spiritual structure. The mind, the heart, the body, the action, the word, and the intention all have to align. When prayer is whole, the negative forces flee. Why? Because wholeness cannot be easily attacked. A divided prayer can be caught. A distracted prayer can be scattered. A prideful prayer can be accused. But a humble prayer, a prayer that stands before God with nothing to prove, has a different authority. Then the Zohar brings Jacob. Jacob sees the pressure of exile. He sees his descendants scattered, stretched, placed under the rule of other powers. He sees poverty, suffering, and fear. And his prayer becomes very simple. He asks to return in peace. He asks for bread to eat and clothing to wear. Notice how basic that is. Jacob is not asking for luxury. He is not asking for applause. He is not asking to dominate the world. He asks for peace, food, and covering. That is already the prayer of the poor. Not poor only in money. Poor in the sense of stripped down. Poor in the sense of having no false costume before heaven. Poor in the sense of standing honestly at the gate and saying, God, without your mercy, I have nothing stable to stand on. Then David enters the chapter. David sees the Shechinah in exile, described as hungry, weary, and thirsty in the wilderness. This is not only about a person being tired. This is about the divine presence appearing tired inside the world. When human beings become disconnected from holiness, the Shechinah is experienced as dry. When prayer becomes mechanical, the Shechinah feels distant. When the world is full of noise but empty of compassion, the Shechinah is like a queen wandering in the wilderness. And David does something very important. He joins her sorrow. This is a huge secret of prayer. Many people pray only from their personal pain. David prays from the pain of the Shechinah. He is not only saying, I am suffering. He is saying, the divine presence is hidden. The world is out of alignment. The Holy Feminine is in exile. And I want my prayer to participate in her restoration. That is why the prayer of the poor comes before all other prayers. The Zohar says, other prayers may be sung with melody, beauty, and order, but the prayer of the poor enters first, because heaven is not impressed by performance. Heaven responds to truth. A quiet whisper with truth can outweigh 1,000 polished speeches that never came from the heart. The poor prayer is the one that has no decoration left except sincerity. It is the prayer that says, I am not here to impress the king. I am here because I need the king. I am here because the Shechinah is in exile. I am here because my soul has become dry and I need living water again. Then the Zohar identifies this prayer with the evening prayer, Arvit. Why evening? Because evening is the time of darkness. The day has passed. The clarity of the morning is gone. The activity of the afternoon is fading. The soul enters night. Arvit represents the feminine principle when she appears alone, without the fullness of union. She is poor, dry, vulnerable, and exposed. This is the mystery of exile. The Shechinah is present, but hidden. The light exists, but it is covered. The soul still belongs to God, but it feels far away. That is why evening prayer is so deep. It is not only a prayer in the dark, it is a prayer for the dark. When you pray at night, you are not pretending everything is bright. You are saying, even here, in the hidden place, I still open my lips. And that is why the verse says, Adonai, open my lips, and my mouth shall declare your praise. Before the prayer even begins, we admit something. Even my mouth is not truly mine. Even my ability to pray is a gift. God has to open the lips before the lips can praise God. The Zohar says a person should stand like a pauper at the gate of the king. This does not mean self-hatred. It does not mean weakness. It means correct spiritual posture. A pauper at the gate does not negotiate with the king as an equal. He does not arrive with entitlement. He arrives with need, honesty, and hope. And this is where prayer becomes clean. The chapter then describes angelic forces that receive the prayers. At Arvit, an eagle descends to carry the prayer of the night. This eagle is connected with Uriel and Nuriel, mercy and fire, Hesed and Gevurah. The night prayer is not abandoned. Even in darkness, wings are sent. At Shacharit, the morning prayer, a lion descends. This is Mikael, the force of kindness and protection. Morning prayer has the energy of awakening, courage, and divine embrace. At Minha, the afternoon prayer, an ox descends. This is Gabriel, the force of strength, discipline, and holy restraint. Afternoon prayer is powerful because it interrupts the middle of the day. It says, even while I am busy, I remember the source. Night is carried by the eagle. Morning is received by the lion. Afternoon is received by the ox. Each time of day opens a different gate in the soul. Then Shabbat appears. On Shabbat, the Holy One descends with the three patriarchs to receive his only daughter. The Zohar reads Shabbat as Shin and Bat, the three lines of the Shin and the daughter. The three patriarchal lines receive the feminine prayer and bring her into union. This is why Shabbat prayer feels different. It is not only a weekday request. It is a restoration of relationship. The daughter returns to the king. The Shechinah is no longer standing outside the gate as poor and dry. She is received. At that time, the gates lift their heads. The King of Glory enters. Then 7 chambers open. The chamber of love, the chamber of awe, the chamber of mercy, the chamber of prophecy through the shining mirror, the chamber of prophecy through the mirror that does not shine, the chamber of justice, the chamber of judgment. These 7 chambers correspond to the 7 lower Sefirot: Hesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malkuth. So prayer is not just words going upward. Prayer is a journey through chambers. And the Zohar says something very important. No prayer enters without being measured and weighed. This is not meant to scare us. It is meant to awaken us. A prayer is measured by its truth. It is weighed by its intention. It is examined according to the heart that sends it. The question is not, did the words sound impressive? The question is, did the soul actually stand behind the words? Then the chapter unites prayer with mitzvah and Torah. Prayer is associated with the Shechinah and Torah with the Holy One. They must not be separated. If a person prays but lives without alignment, the prayer is split from action. If a person studies but never softens the heart, the Torah becomes abstract. If a person performs commandments without love and awe, the actions become dry. The Zohar wants union. Prayer, Torah, mitzvah, love, awe, speech, body, and intention must rise together. Then the chapter points to the Shema and the mystery of 248 words, connected with positive commandments and Abraham, the site of love. Love is not just emotion. Love is structure. Love becomes action. Love becomes fidelity. Love becomes the body serving the soul. Then the chapter brings in fear and strength, connected with Isaac and Tefillin. Fear here does not mean panic. It means reverence. It means the holy trembling that keeps a person from becoming casual with sacred things. Love without awe can become loose. Awe without love can become harsh. The central pillar is needed. That central pillar is Jacob, who becomes Israel. Jacob includes the right and the left, love and fear, mercy and discipline. Because of this, the image of the human being is connected to Israel, to the central column, to balance. This is why the true human being is not merely a biological creature. The true human being is a balanced vessel for divine image. Then the Zohar says, children, life, and sustenance come through the central pillar, the tree of life. On the inner level, this means real blessing comes through balance. Not extreme right, not extreme left, not only expansion, not only restriction, but the middle line that can hold both. And prayer becomes an offering. The Shechinah is lifted as an offering to be united with Zeir Anpin. In simple terms, our prayer helps reunite the lower world with the higher world. When we pray sincerely, we are not just asking God to fix our life. We are participating in cosmic repair. That is why 10 matters in the chapters. Holiness is revealed through a complete structure. The 10 Sefirot, the tenfold vessel, the community, the full body of prayer. Prayer wants completion. Even the movements of sacred sound matter. Letters are described like horses. Vowels are like riders. Cantillation marks are like weapons. Meaning, sound is not random. Sacred speech has body, breath, movement, direction, and force. And then the serpent appears again, trying to disrupt the prayer. The moment a person tries to pray sincerely, distraction comes, sleepiness comes, irritation comes, random thoughts come, doubt comes, a strange heaviness comes. Why? Because sincere prayer threatens the false order. The ego does not mind religious performance. The ego can survive that. The shells do not fear empty words. But a poor prayer, a humble prayer, a real prayer from the depth of the soul, that is dangerous to the forces of separation. So the Zohar teaches us how to pray. Do not come inflated. Come poor. Do not come pretending to be already full. Come thirsty. Do not come as someone performing spirituality. Come as someone standing at the gate of the king. And do not think poverty here means lack of dignity. The prayer of the poor enters first precisely because it carries the highest dignity. It has stopped lying. This is the mystery of chapter 17. The lowest prayer becomes the highest prayer. The dry soul becomes the vessel for living water. The evening prayer becomes the doorway into the chambers. The Shechinah in exile becomes the Shechinah received. The poor person at the gate becomes the one whose voice is heard before all the decorated prayers. So, when you pray, you do not need to manufacture greatness. You need truth. You need humility. You need love and awe together. You need to let the lips open from above. Because when the prayer is poor in ego, it becomes rich in light. And when the human being becomes empty of false self, the king has room to enter. Shalom.